my husband and I are going through this new season of walking through something that God is calling us to walk out of faith and not fear, even though everything in us wants to be consumed with this fear. And so just yesterday, we were really wrestling through something, and I was, just reiterating to my husband about in Revelation, it speaks about that God opens doors that no one else can open, and God closes doors that no one else can close. And if this particular thing that we feel God is calling us to do, if He really wants us to do that, the doors will just be, busted open. And they had been up until yesterday. And then we felt some resistance, and I questioned that, and I thought that was God just not opening the door. And so I really brought that to the Lord this morning, and I just started praying, Lord, you've brought us this far, and it seems like this is exactly what you want, but then I was caught at this crossroads where there was some effort on my part, and then I don't want to do anything that's out of your will, is what the plea of my heart was before the Lord. And so I was reading this morning. I'm reading some of the Old Testament, and there's this prophet named Elisha, and it was sharing how Elisha and his men were actually building a place that they could pray together, they could minister together, and so they all had their axes and they're chopping down the trees. And one of his men accidentally, as he's chopping down a tree, his axe flings into the lake nearby, and he is very distraught over this because it's a friend of his, it's not his own axe. And he goes to Elisha and he tells him what happened, and so Elisha brings him over, and Elisha grabs this stick, and he's just this anointed, powerful man of God, okay? And so he throws this stick into the water, and sure enough, the axe surfaces up to the lake, okay? So they can see the head of the axe. But Elisha does something really interesting here. Yes, he brought that axe. It didn't float to the bottom like it should have. It came to the surface, but then Elisha turned to his friend, and he said to him, "Now it's your turn." And he says, "Go get it." And his friend gets wet, gets in the water, makes an effort to go reach in. Yeah, the door had been open, the miracle had happened, but now he had his part, and he had to go in and grab the axe in order to grab a hold of it. And so to me, it was showing me, God really revealed to me, yes, I'm going to open up doors. Yes, that's when it's me involved in this. But I'm going to do my part, and you need to get your feet wet, and you also need to do your part. If you notice in some of the Gospels, Jesus, when he does a miracle, he says, in a couple different places, when he healed somebody physically, he would say, "Get up. Oh, and by the way, grab your mat too." They have their part. We have our part as well. And so I'm just going to encourage you today that you, when you get up, that you get your feet wet and you grab hold of what God has for you, and you listen to his voice that says, "Go grab it." Have a blessed day. Talk to you soon. Bye.